It started with a burning house and a broken heart. I wasn't inside the house, but maybe I should have been. At least then, someone might have noticed that I was unraveling. Instead, I stood on the sidewalk at 2 a.m., barefoot, clutching a cracked ceramic mug like it could save me. Couldn't. Neither could the man walking toward me in soot-stained gear and a face I'd rather punch than kiss. "Get back," he said, not unkindly. "You're too close. Tell that to my ex," I muttered. He paused, looked me over, and something shifted behind his tired blue eyes. Recognition? Pity? I didn't want either. But then again, I didn't want to be crying in front of the man I'd spent the last year avoiding like a stubborn rash. Jake Carter, local firefighter, town golden boy, and the only person who ever made me feel like maybe I wasn't entirely alone before he disappeared the night I needed him most. "I didn't know this was your place," he said quietly. "It's not," I replied. "It's his." Jake followed my gaze to the second-floor window, now glowing orange. "Ex. Bastard," I corrected. He gave a grunt that sounded dangerously close to sympathy. I hated that. I hated how his presence filled the air like smoke, how just standing next to him brought everything flooding back: the arguments, the silence, the way he kissed me like it was the last thing he'd ever do. "I'm fine," I lied. "You're barefoot." "Yeah, well, heartbreak doesn't come with a dress code." Jake tilted his head, and for a second, I forgot how to breathe. Then he reached out slowly, carefully, like I was a wild animal he didn't want to startle. "Come sit in the truck. You're shaking." "I don't want your pity." He didn't move. "I'm not offering it." And somehow that made it worse, because I knew he wasn't lying. A year ago, Jake and I were something. Not boyfriends, not officially. In a town like this, nothing ever was. But we had late-night drives, hands brushing over gear shifts, stolen kisses behind the station, and the kind of silence that only existed between people who saw too much of each other and not enough of themselves. Then my father died, and Jake didn't show. Not to the funeral. Not to the weeks after, when grief hollowed me out and I begged the universe for anything that would make me feel human again. Jake disappeared, and I learned the hard way that even firemen can run from flames, just not the ones in your heart. So I moved on, sort of. I found Nathan, a gallery owner with kind eyes and empty promises. I convinced myself it was love. It wasn't. And tonight, when I came home early to surprise him, I found him with someone else, his hands on another man's hips, their laughter echoing through the kitchen like a slap. I left before they saw me. I didn't take my shoes. Just the mug I made in pottery class last month, the one with a crooked heart scratched on the side. And now I was here, in front of a house going up in flames, with Jake Carter standing too close. "You okay?" he asked again, quieter this time. "I don't know," I admitted. That did it. He stepped forward, closed the distance, and before I could stop myself, I collapsed against him. He caught me without hesitation, arms like steel and warmth and everything I'd tried so hard to forget. I buried my face in his chest, and for the first time in months, I let myself fall apart. Back at the station, Jake wrapped me in a blanket and handed me coffee. "You still take it black?" he asked. "You still remember?" He gave me a look. I never forgot. That stung more than it should have. I sipped the coffee to avoid responding, but the heat burned my tongue. "I wanted to come to the funeral," he said suddenly. "I did, but I was on a rescue call. A bad one. 3 kids stuck in a collapsed basement. I couldn't leave. You could have called." "I did. 10 times. You blocked me." I blinked. "What?" "I wasn't ghosting you, Leo. You locked me out." The cup slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor. He didn't flinch. "I thought you didn't care. I thought you hated me." We sat there in silence, the only sound the hum of the vending machine and the whisper of night pressing against the station walls. Then he said, "You still wearing that necklace?" I reached up instinctively, fingers brushing the silver chain hidden under my shirt. "You gave this to me," I said. He nodded. "I meant it." The next morning, I woke up in the bunk room. Jake had taken the floor. His jacket was draped over me like a shield. Outside, the world looked different. Maybe it was just daylight. Maybe it was hope. He drove me home, to my empty apartment, and stood at the door like he didn't want to leave. I should go, he said. You could stay, I offered. He blinked. Leo, I'm not asking for forever, I said. Just, don't leave again without saying goodbye. He stepped inside. Days passed. We talked. We laughed. We argued. We cried. Healing wasn't linear, but it was real. Jake showed up with takeout and dumb movies. I brought him coffee and terrible poetry. We didn't label it. We didn't have to. One night, as summer rain painted the windows, he pulled me close and whispered, I never stopped loving you. I looked up at him, heart thudding. I hated you, I whispered back. He smiled. I know. And then I kissed him. And this time he didn't disappear. The fire at Nathan's place was ruled accidental. He moved out of town. I didn't care, because I had Jake, the boy I once hated, the man who held me when I fell. And in his arms I found something I thought I lost. Home. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.